This is our first episode of Playlog for 2025, and what better way to break in the new year than building our top 10 favorite indie games from 2024 list. Hey everybody, CGDannyB back again with another episode of Playlog, the podcast where we talk all things indie gaming, but of course, we can't talk indie gaming alone because that'd be so boring. So, I've got my partner in crime, the Play Nice Kid themselves, Tofr. What's poppin', homie?
Oh boy, has it been a holiday season.
Ooh, what a time.
Oh,
Christmas,
wow.
New Year's.
You remember the thing happening?
Yep, that pop culture news thing that we all saw.
Damn, that was a thing.
Insane. I can't believe we let that happen. Who would know? Because we're definitely not recording this before the new year, and this has definitely been out like under a folder of footage for 2 weeks or something like that. We have no idea. But what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Playlog. As I mentioned in our previous episode, the Playlog Awards, if you hadn't seen yet, be sure to check out that episode, like, comment, subscribe, etc. Blah, blah, blah. But this is our top 10 games of 2024 video. We got together, built our list, but before we get into all the important topic of the show stuff, I guess I should do my little housekeeping shenanigan here because that's important. Otherwise, you guys don't know what's going on in the world. I can't delete the stuff because it's the old doc, not the new doc. Don't worry about the behind the scenes stuff, guys. We're still scrambled here. We literally recorded the award show 2 days ago for the sake of timelines, so give me a second. Usually I got a week break between these.
This is totally professional.
Very professional. Totally. Let me see here. Play Nice Kids himself. What's popping, homie? Okay. A real quick reminder, as part of our podcast, we'll be doing our monthly book club where we go back and replay some indie classics or finally get around to some modern indies that we just haven't played yet. And with the holiday taking up to 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever, in December, we are pushing our 2-month Playlog session to the end of January where we will be reviewing Hollow Knight. Forge your own path in Hollow Knight, an epic action adventure through a vast ruined kingdom of insects and heroes. Explore twisted caverns. I'm sorry, someone is opening the doors, so it's going like ding, 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 and it's really throwing off my rhythm here reading. Battle tainted creatures and befriend bizarre bugs, all in a classic hand-drawn 2D style. So if you want to get involved in the episode, play the game these next few months, or now you have a month to go yet as of posting this on your preferred platform. Then head over to our write-in form in the description and give us your thoughts on Hollow Knight for our January 28th episode of Playlog Podcast. You can join us live on twitch.tv/CGDannyB for the discussion, or catch the upload a few days later on youtube.com/CGDannyB. So yeah, go play Hollow Knight. Now, yes. What do you mean the timestamps don't work? It's giving me a big yellow button, Tofr. I don't understand. All right, so there's no timestamps for this one. It's fine.
It's a holiday miracle.
Yeah, that's what I call it, a miracle. Anyway, timestamp. Maybe there won't be timestamps. I don't know. We'll see. This is normally where the writing question is. And I'm like, hey guys, what's poppin'? Writing question? What you got going on? It's been 2 days. No one had a chance to write it. So Tofr has a pop culture question. Right? What you got?
Yes. What is your go-to holiday season movie or TV show to rewatch?
Ooh, that's a good one. So I know it's a weird one. People don't like it sometimes, but I love it. I remember going as kids in elementary school to go see it in like the big Hershey theater. But the Polar Express is like my go-to every year. I watch the Polar Express every single year, whether it's just alone, just with a hot cup of hot cocoa, et cetera. Or last year we did like a Discord movie night where we all watched it together. I hadn't planned to do that this year, but I think I should consider it and do that again because I really enjoy the Polar Express. And I think if we watch it as a group, people really like it. So yeah, Polar Express is like my given. I know a lot of people like Elf, but I feel like I haven't watched Elf in like 10 years.
I have never seen Elf.
It's a solid. Now I'm curious again because I haven't seen it in so long. I wonder if it has any like outdated like, ooh, that was something we said in 2004. I'm not entirely sure if that's okay anymore, but
it's Will Ferrell, right?
It is Will Ferrell. Yep, Will Ferrell.
And the chance is realistic that
there
might be some outdated things there.
Well, I feel like I don't know if I would say, like, I don't know if Will Ferrell said like maybe statements that are out of touch, but I feel like he wouldn't have used like, the F slurs and the R slurs and anything like that. I don't think those were like part. I think that's usually my biggest concern with anything from like 2004 to 2006. Like, listen, I'll tell you, I tried to watch Ben's Warmers recently. That's a rough one to be like, yikes. In 2024? Okay. We'll see. It's but yeah, no, I think also Zoe Deschanel, you know, a beautiful lady. So it's a good time. It's a good time. What about you? What's your go-to Christmas movie?
It used to be Die Hard.
Interesting. Okay, I'll tell you this: I've never seen Die Hard.
It's a Christmas movie. It happens at Christmas.
True. I won't argue it. I agree. I get it.
Yeah. But I haven't. I'm starting a new tradition where I'm gonna rewatch the whole first season of Hawkeye.
Okay.
That's Christmas theme. And listen, they did Hawkeye dirty before they made the series.
Yeah.
He was always like the least interesting of all the Avengers.
Yeah.
And then they finally gave him a series, based it on probably the best Hawkeye comic that was ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And they killed it. They totally killed it. I love that show.
I like Hawkeye a lot. I enjoyed it. I remember really liking Hawkeye in Age of Ultron, which I guess universally people don't like. I love Age of Ultron. I think the movie's awesome. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, sure, maybe there's issues, and MCU has a problem of killing off their villains except Loki. So it's like, oh no, how do we get to experience this villain again? We don't, but I don't know. I liked Hawkeye a lot. And then I like seeing Kate Bishop as well and seeing where she'll go. So I don't know how much we get of Hawkeye proper anymore. If he's like retired now, we're done with him, but we take it.
I think he's mentioned in interviews that he's still willing to play the role. So
okay.
Despite having his big accident last year.
Yeah, what a snow. I was gonna say mulcher. I don't know what you call the damn thing. It's not a snow blower. It was the big snow device that ate his leg or something. I don't know.
Snow device. Yeah.
Yeah. It's power to him. Listen, and he's got his own little social media app. You know about that? There's like a Jeremy Renner app. Like it's like a social media app. It's almost like it's just Twitter, but it's just for Jeremy Renner. Like you subscribe to see his Twitter feed essentially. It's kind of crazy.
Kind of want to check it out now.
Honestly, I think it might have been like $50 a month. Sounds salty, but
damn. I like Jeremy Renner, but not that much.
I get it. Yeah. But I'm saying if we make a Playlog app, you know, and it's just our Blue Sky feeds, just reposted, but they have to pay to see them when they can just go see it on the free website. We could do that. Oh man, killer. Guys, let us know what your favorite Christmas movie is that you watch every single year. Honestly, I think I should just rewatch the Christmas episode of My Hero Academia. That's another good one. It's great. The little girl Erie, who just went through some like family issues, and they save her. I guess kind of spoilers, but it's a Christmas episode. It's not really spoilers, but they save her, and she's never experienced holidays in her life, so they bring her to the Christmas party in a Santa suit, and like, oh my god, how adorable! But because she doesn't know the ins and outs of the holidays, she's like mixing them all together. She brings in just like she walks in like, trick or treat? No, wrong holiday, sweetie. She's like, I painted these for you, and pulls out like a thing of Easter eggs. Like, no. Okay, you got the spirit though. So it's really cute. It's a cute episode.
Nice. You know what? Another recommendation though is the Muppets Christmas Carol.
That is what I know. I've seen it as a kid, and I feel like I say a lot with like a lot of movies where I've seen them. I know I've sat and watched them, but the recollection of start to finish the movie I don't have for the Muppets Christmas Carol. So it's definitely one I feel like I need to watch again as an adult and be like, oh, I get it.
It's been a while since I watched it, but I remember that like Michael Caine, who plays Scrooge.
Okay.
He's like he's playing as if he's in the most dramatic movie ever.
He goes hard.
Plays it totally serious. Yeah, it's amazing.
That gives me like the question, like, you have everyone's turned him up but one person, like Michael Caine is that. Someone out there picked that. And Michael Caine was like, I'm playing this hard, everybody.
Yeah.
Michael Caine. Master Wayne.
Michael Caine.
Oh, Jeeves. But Christmas aside, because that was weeks ago now, I don't have to worry about that. We're here for one reason and one reason alone, and I'll verbally timestamp because I can't do it for real whenever I don't care. Today, we are breaking down our top 10 indie games of 2024. Now, for a little note on how we did this whole thing, Tofr built their top 10, I built my top 10, Tofr gave me their list, I put them together, and mathematically, I put together what our list would be. So if you put a game in 10th place, it earned 1 point, 9th place, it earned 2 points, all the way up to first place, it would earn 10 points. So if any games crossed over where Tofr and I were like, we agree, like this one's on my list and this one's on my list, it would get a combined score, putting it wherever on the list. So this is where I should mention there is an asterisk on the 10. there's a big asterisk on the 10. So do with that information what you will. Any thoughts before we get into it of like what you expect to see, what you hope to see, just what, like anything?
I'm curious to see how many games we both put in there. Like the amount of crossover we have on our list. I doubt there's gonna be that many games that we've both put on there, but
you could be right. You could be wrong. I could definitely tell you for a fact at the end how many crossed over, but I'm hoping mathematically we could figure that out along the way. And you'd be like, I see what happened here.
Okay.
What I do want to try, I'm thinking about next year already, right? Is like, I very much took the formula for how Kind of Funny has done theirs. I've watched them do their top 10 every year for probably, I think, going on 4 or 5 years now. And they do the same thing. They build a list. However, they're doing it with anywhere between 5 to 7 people. So it's a lot more math to make a very diverse list. When it's 2, it's either everything's different or everything's the same. So it's not, you know, we lived the life. But yeah, so I have all the fun little snippet animations too. We'll see like the top 10. I did the voiceover. Let me check the volumes on. Nice. Switch over the scene. I know I said for like the last one, I'm like, they can hear us, whatever. Our face will be on this one. So by all means, react as you feel accordingly. Let me move my stream deck here so I can hit everything appropriately. And let's just get going with, I can't find my mouse. Number 10. Number 10. That's the wrong scene. Oh, well. Vampire Therapist.
Oh, yeah.
And Karate Survivors. And look at that. Dude, I hit the YouTube button instead of the other one. It was supposed to be this one, and then I fucked it up. But now I'll get it next time. I'll get the next one. But yes, so our number 10 are Vampire Survivor. Sorry, Vampire Survivors. Vampire Therapist and Karate Survivors. So I guess as we do each one, we're going to sit and kind of talk about why we voted for it, why it's in our top 10. And as we have 2 separate ones, supposedly assuming we each voted for a different game, I guess we each take our time to talk about it. So you want to start with Vampire Therapist?
Absolutely. Vampire Therapist is, for those who don't know, a visual novel where you play a cowboy vampire. A cowboy vampire.
Campbell.
And he has traveled to Europe to learn how to be a psychologist. He wants to help out other vampires with their mental struggles because people aren't meant to live for as long as vampires live. So they have to deal with that. And like, we know that regular people already have issues aplenty. So you can imagine that with vampires, it just
I don't want to live as long as a human.
Stacks. And they use real life psychology in this game, and it's so well done. And the thing is, the game itself is memorable, but the way they use the psychology, they have like 5 different issues. For example, black and white thinking is one of them. Okay. What else was there? I can't remember right now, but there are 5 categories. And then when you start talking to people and they mention something that they're struggling with, you're recognizing these 5 patterns in real life people. Okay. And you're like, oh damn.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it's so charming. It makes you think. And it's a fun spin on like the regular visual novels that we might know.
That's cool. If I recall, that's one I got the review key for you on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. I always got to remember which ones we did. But yeah, I think I was one I got the game. I'm like, is this one look interesting to you? You said yeah. So they sent me the code. I shot it your way, and I think we talked about it on the episode like prior to that or post that or whatever the statement. It looked really cool, and I love a good visual novel. And like getting the footage for it for the video, I'm like, oh wait, hold on. I'm feeling the vibe for this one. I see it. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's got to be an update. There's got to be an update in the new year as well.
Okay.
Where you're doing couples therapy.
Okay. So is it expansion then? Like it just adds new characters and stuff, or is it okay? Cool. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We feel that. We love that.
But tell me, like you picked Karate Survivors?
I did. Karate Survivors is definitely one of those ones that I played and enjoyed so much, and like didn't really cross my mind as I was playing it to be in the top 10. But then as I was looking back, like every year when I make my top 10, I think, okay, what games am I not thinking about that I loved and I need to include? And when I saw it, I'm like, yeah, no, I went hard with that one for like a good like week and a half, 2 weeks, where it is essentially Vampire Survivors, but imagine you're the Karate Kid. And obviously not the actual copyright Karate Kid, whatever, but you are just a dude, I guess a janitor of some sort. You got the janitor type slacks going on. But you build your attacks as you level up and unlock new different karate moves, and you put them on a timeline that'll cycle. So like when you're playing Vampire Survivors and you're like, I know I have the whatever item, it's going to go off every 3 seconds and do whatever. It'll be like that. So you'll see the 6 tiles, you have your kick, bam. And then if it's all blank, it'll just be that first kick, the span of the movement, 3 seconds later, go again, 3 seconds, go again, pick up another move. So the whole thing is you collecting different types of attacks where there's red, blue, and gold. The gold are the more rare ones. But if you combo red or blue ones in like chronological order, so like if I grab moves number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like those will do progressively more damage because they're like a chronological set of attacks. So it's like the bam, bam, ching, bing, bing, ding, ding, ding. And then just like Vampire Survivors, you're leveling up your health, your defenses, your whatever, your ability to do with melee damages, how many more hits they get out of them. I think as I was playing, there were 5 stages. This is a game I was supposed to play for the Steam page, and then as I got the key, I was sick and nasally. Let me stream this tomorrow for an hour and get it going. Next thing I knew, they were like, oh, the Kind of Funny guys got it. I'm like, those bastards. That was supposed to be me on the Steam page. But fine, whatever. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Karate Survivors. And I think for anyone who loves the Vampire Survivors formula, or if you're a fan of like Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, etc., I think this does a great thing of mashing those two universes, and I think people really like it. So
it did look really cool when you first talked about it. It's an interesting spin on Vampire Survivors, and that compared to other Vampire Survivor likes, this one does a bit more to like create its own identity,
right?
I feel
100%.
And that's really cool. Plus it just gives off the same vibes like the old Jackie Chan movies,
exactly,
where he uses basically anything as a weapon.
Yep. You get the little lawn flamingos, you get umbrellas. One of my favorite items in the bar, they have like recliners, but they'll slide. So you can like dive into the recliner and you'll spin in it. And as you're spinning, you're kind of kicking around and going into the crowd. And I think it gets like 3 or 4 uses. So I'll be like, slide, 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 until it breaks. And then I go and find another one and do it over again. It's just a lot of damage really quick. So yeah, it's just a bunch of cool combinations as you get through each map and find like what you like to use the most. So yeah, it's a fun one.
Cool. I still have to pick it up, but I will.
It might be on sale for the currently ongoing winter sale. That's not ongoing for you guys anymore. Because, well, I guess no, because I think usually at like 10 a.m. This is going up at noon. So yeah, it's been over for 2 hours, but hopefully got some good deals, right, guys? Right? Winter sale. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's our number 10. So we're ready to move on to number 9.
Hell yes.
Okay, let me get the right scene this time. I did it. All right, here we go. Number 9. Mythwrecked. And Children of the Sun.
Ooh.
Yeah, listen, we're gonna need that asterisk.
I didn't expect that one to make it back. Like, I when it released, you didn't seem to really be that into it, but then you picked it up again a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so this one was in Steam Next Fest. I remember seeing, I think probably the spring Next Fest, I think is when we first saw it. And it was one of those ones where I'm like, this is a Devolver game. I'm like not familiar with it. Let me check it out. And stylistically, I wasn't in love just at first sight, but once I got into it, it is the Sniper Elite-esque, like you're this kid running around, you're trying to take on this giant cult, and you take your sniper rifle, and as you hit opponents, every impact allows you to redirect and hit another one. So you're using your trajectory to destroy elements of the world, whether that's blowing up cars, to take out enemies. Eventually, as you level up and progress, you can make your bullet go faster. You can pause in midair so you can redirect a little better. Always you can like curve the bullet, but that can only get you so far depending how much you're upgraded. And it's not like it's a skill tree or anything. It's just progression as you play more. But I really got into the gameplay loop of just going in and trying to land each kill and find the pattern, right? Because they're not all marked. You have to mark them yourself. So you go in, found the guy, okay, but there's 7 on this map. So if I kill him, then I'll kind of look around. I'm like, okay, I found number 2, ping. Now he's always marked, but I gotta find numbers 3 through 7. Where did these guys go? And each round as you retry to get that, or scoping out the map and finding everything. And the more intricate they get, there's the more details of like, if I fly through this window, bank off this wall, kill this guy, blow up this truck, it'll kill 2 of them. So it's to go out the window, I can curve the bullet, hit this, and it's these patterns of figuring out what's the way to get this mission done the quickest with the least amount of turns. And I fell in love with that. I really, really enjoyed it. So another one that I was like, yeah, you know what? I like Children of the Sun this year. So let me throw that on there.
I'm surprised that you say that you weren't into it stylistically, because I think the visual style is one of the big pluses for me with this game.
Absolutely, 100%. And like, it definitely stands out and is different, but I guess it doesn't scream for my attention, which is such a like a personal thing as opposed to like, nobody's going to like this style. But I think when I look at it, I'm not immediately thrown into it because I think it gives me a similar vibe to like a lot of indie horror games. And that's usually where I'm like, yeah, that style's not for me. Okay. But again, the gameplay is definitely where this one held for me. I know if I had gone in just looking at judging a book by its cover, going just stylistically, I probably never would have given it the time of day. But this is where the Devolver power came in. I'm like, you know what, Devolver? Sure, I'll give it a shot. Let's see what it's about. And yeah, I really dug it.
Nice. Yeah. This is probably going to be the only Devolver game on your list. Probably.
Nope. And Apostle's like, what other Devolver ones do I have? Nope. But your number 9 here was Mythrex. So I know we recently talked about it, but let's recently talk about it again.
We did. Well, for those who missed that episode, it's basically a friend them up, where you get shipwrecked on an island where all of the Greek gods now live, but they don't remember that they are the Greek gods. And you basically do fetch quests all over the place, trying to help them out, trying to figure out what happened, why they can't remember who they are, and also find a way home. And I didn't expect to put this on the list when I was playing it. But then afterwards I was like, I had such a hard time putting this down. This game was just like, oh, maybe if I just finish that chore. Oh, wait, then I can do this? Oh, sure. Let me just do this, and then I can go. Then I can finish for the night. And then I was like, no, wait, no. I can still do that. And it just kept going. It just kept going. And yeah, I had to put it on the list. It's one of only 3 games this year that I struggle to put down to go to sleep at night.
Those are always the best, right? Where you're just like, you know, you got to go to bed. And then I always tell like the story with Moonlighter, right? Where it was my Switch is dying. So I got 2 choices. I save it, turn it off, put it on the dock and go to bed. Or I reach for the charger and keep going, which is probably bad for the battery of my device, but I'm going to keep going. And then you keep going. You're like, okay. 3 hours later, it's time to actually go to bed. I have to get up in an hour anyway. And like every time you say that with Mythract, I'm like, damn, I know like that's on the list. I got to get to it. And can you believe I went 2 weeks without spending the gift card you gave me? I haven't even bought anything yet. I'm so frugal with my money. I skipped the entire winter sale to see what was on sale. But yeah, no, like Mythract is one that I social media I remember seeing and I was super in love with. At the time recording this, I still haven't gotten the chance to play it. That might change by the time the episode drops, but we won't know. Time's a flat circle. But yeah, you being so high on it, I know we talked about like the ending might have been hit or miss depending, but like that the loop itself was so like such an investment. Like I'm still in. I want to keep going. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want.
Yeah. If you like your games fetch questy, then you're gonna like this one. It's basically all you do. You collect fruit and you collect mementos and you bring them to the right people, and that's basically the whole loop.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. I want more friend-em-ups.
Listen, honestly, Polygon Treehouse, Mythwreck 2, new mythology maybe would be cool. You know what I mean? We got to award this bad bitch. Yeah. So we can move on to number 8. I do realize now if I do the one with the scenes, it covers the text, so you can't even see the number of the name or anything, and that's just a problem. Oh. So we'll just go back to the YouTube one where you can't see our faces, but still feel obligated to respond if need be. But now, our number 8. Number 8. Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom. And Tavern Talk. And there we are, number 8, another tie. Can you believe it? 2 more cases showed up again.
How many ties are there? It's not gonna be 9 ties out of 10, is it?
For audio listeners, that's a very bad bit. It's just me looking around the room like, I don't know. Let me tell you, chat, you better get used to the and. That's all I'm going to tell you. But yeah, so our number 8 is...
it's cool to see Yellow Taxi Go Vroom make it.
Yeah. Your list. I think we talked about this the other week, and this was off screen and everything. But this is the time of year where I do my own personal video, my top 10, and I talk about them like what, why did I enjoy it, what, made me include this game on here over other titles this year, et cetera, et cetera. And I kept going through the list, and every time I would like add something and bump something, I was like, this just doesn't feel like the game I want to have in my top 10. It feels like an honorable mention. It feels like something that I wouldn't include like in those top 20. I don't really know. But like Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom stayed at like the number 1 honorable mention every time. So it was kind of like waiting in line at the movie. We're like, hey, guy at the end, you move to the front. No, I'm just kidding. Move back. And the guy in second place waited ever so patiently for his turn to buy his ticket. And then I was like, you know what, buddy? I'm so sorry I put you through all this. Like, here you go. And I'm like, yeah, that felt right. I really enjoyed Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom. I think in a year where we got Astrobot that showed like a 3D platformer can win Game of the Year, et cetera, et cetera. Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom does something where it makes a 3D platformer so much more unique, where it's not just the cute animal character jumping and collecting coins and everything. It is this momentum-based game about like a wind-up taxi where you kind of have to drive forward, side momentum, spin on a dime, turn one way, jump over a ramp, do these things. And it's so much more than just like a simple 3D platformer. It's I'll go as far to say challenging 3D platformer, but once you get used to the controls, it's like the snappiness of knowing where to jump, where to drive, where to get collectibles, how to run into a wall, and when you use that impact from the bounce to spin again and climb up a block and everything. That's what I was about to say. They're not intuitive. They're very intuitive. It's a learning curve. But like, I really enjoyed going through that learning curve and seeing this goofy, giggly game that I'm like, yeah, I really like Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom.
Yeah, I remember when it released. I think I watched you stream it on Twitch, and you were just it brought you so much joy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And I really liked seeing that. It's something that I think is pretty unique to like these 3D platformers that recall like the Nintendo 64 era of platformers, and it's cool to see that you picked this one.
Yeah, I'm glad I made it. Good job, buddy. Welcome, Taxi. But then in retort, I'm also glad this one made it to your list with Tavern Talk, because one that I didn't get to play all the year. I'm like, I need to get to Tavern Talk. And still haven't, but it made it here. So tell me more about this Tavern Talk thing. What is this game?
It's another visual novel. I do love me a good visual novel.
I can tell.
This one is pretty similar to games like Coffee Talk. If you like games like that, where you basically own a business where you where people order drinks and you serve them drinks, and you get to know them through the conversations you have.
Yeah.
And that's basically the gameplay. And in Tavern Talk, they take that formula, and instead of being in a modern world where you serve coffee to fantasy creatures, this is more D&D inspired.
Mm-hmm.
And you serve magical drinks. And if you mess up making the magical drinks, you get to serve them to Andu, which is this adorable creature that sits on the side of your screen. I love Andu. I would die for Andu.
He in this video. Did I include Andu? Oh no, I didn't include Andu. He must have been the other one.
You didn't include Andu.
He must have been in the game, the award show one. Oh no.
It's okay. It's okay.
I don't want the cat. Where'd she go? There, hold on. No! I would say this one. Oh, she keeps leaving. Hold on, I got this one. Run it. This one. She's been staring at me this whole time we've been talking. I never met this one, but now I'm about to. Because I don't know, something about those scales. She turns into a dragon, I guarantee it. Look at
I'm not going to spoil it for you. You have to play it.
I will.
But yeah, it's so well written. And like for a visual novel, you would hope that it's well written.
Mm-hmm.
But these characters, all of them are just so lovable. Like at times they border on cliche, but then the writers managed to pull them away from the cliche in a really cool way. And it's I got really invested in this one. I already bought the DLC for it.
Nice.
But haven't played it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think as I sit and reflect on it myself, like, why haven't I go back and play it? And I think it's because I played the demo, which the first one I think gives you like an hour and a half, 2 hours of gameplay. And I think it's knowing that I'll be starting to do that again, like the tutorial part, seeing the intro character, meeting, is it Fable? Is that the elf girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing her again and goes like, oh, I'm so sad. Oh no, I shot an arrow at the wolf lady. I'm so sorry. And like knowing I'm going to experience that again, I think if I could W key a little bit, and I don't know if it does the thing where like the demo data transfers over, so I'll just pick right back up, but I think it's knowing I have to go through the intro.
I think the demo wasn't the beginning of the game, but more somewhere in the middle.
Okay, noted. I guess we're about to find
now
out.
another reason to play this for you especially is that there are some pretty cool guest appearances.
I've seen the art on Twitter and I know they're there. And Chad, I'm not gonna tell you, but I'm just saying, you better get your tux and I was gonna say corset. What the fuck's the flower? The corsage. Corsage ready. I was pissed. I could only think of boutonniere. I'm like, that's the male one. What the pretty one? It was crazy. That was wild. Freaking yeah. That's number 8. But Tofr, it's time for number 7. Are you ready?
Number 7. Am I ever?
Number 7. I didn't switch first. Pause. Talk. No, we're fine. We're on.
No.
Garden Path. What? Is this game trying to kill me?
Oh. You're surprising me with
listen, I'm hitting you with the crazy things. I'm like, wait a minute, these are what's coming in here? I started, I think, the last 2. Go ahead, tell you. Like, we talked about Garden Path, like, all last week. I think it was nominated for, like, 3 or 4 of the Playlog Awards, from cozy to underrated and everything. So, I'm not surprised you had it on your list. But for anyone who's like, Garden Path, that sounds cute.
Garden Path is cute. You run into this wild garden that has gotten really overgrown, and it's up to you to, like, make it prettier or just leave it as is and just hang around in it and meet the people who visit. You can spend your time in the Garden Path however you want. You can just spend it fishing. You can actually, like, try and make beautiful plots of land with, like, particular flowers that you like, or you can just let it grow wild. You can meet interesting characters, some of whom are, like, I think one of them is an onion.
Oh, lovely.
yeah. Because of course, and then there's a bear.
Right.
Because of course.
Because of course.
But it's if you love games like your Animal Crossing New Horizons, or your cozy grove, you need to play this. Yeah, you really need to play this. The art is beautiful. It looks like it's been painted. And the music is so soothing. I bought the soundtrack just to have something soothing to listen to when I go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
It's such a good game, and people aren't picking it up, damn it.
Guys, you gotta play Garden Path. Trust me, as someone who hasn't played it, you gotta play it. But yeah, no, I mean, like, I've been staring at it so much these last couple of weeks, just building, the footage and everything, and talking about Game of the Year and seeing other people put it in their like underrated or hidden gem like videos or posts and everything. I'm like, yeah, Garden Path is there, and I think it's still in that. It's a Stardew Valley cozy, and like I love Cozy Grove, right? And I think that's what I get the most vibe from. And I'm like, I know if I picked it up and got into it, I definitely would sink time into it. In the same time, I'm like, I still have Fields of Mystery to play. I still have this game to play. I still have this game to check out. And there's so many, but like, if we could just double the day, let's go 48-hour days, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Still 8-hour work days. We just get so much more done.
Yes.
Yeah?
But tell me about your game.
I will. Tied for 7th with the Garden Path was Is This Game Trying to Kill Me? Which, again, we talked about a couple weeks ago. Back in if it was 2021 or 2022, I included Escape Academy on my top 10 list because I love weirdly enough, the actual escape room simulator is not one that I love. And maybe it's just like too on the nose and a little like not as narratively driven as some of the other experiences I like. But those ones like, here's the story and you're playing an escape room without directly just being in an escape room, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Is This Game Trying to Kill Me? You're playing as a guy who gets lost in the woods. You find this cabin, and the owner's like, if you like to get out, solve my puzzles. And the combination of you are playing in first person, you are the person, but then you sit down at the computer and there's a video game that interacts with the world you're in. So yes, you're playing a video game in which you play a video game in the video game. So there's layers. But yeah, so like in the game, in the game within the game, you will you'll solve puzzles, you'll move platforms, and like you'll hear like chink something move, right? And you're like, you'll open a chest and be like, there's nothing in here. But then you back away from the computer and you find the red chest. Oh, here's the next item that I need to move forward. You'll find a room where you have to move a platform, but for some reason there's no button to go left. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? But then if you back away from the computer, there's a physical button that points to the left right next to you. Like, okay, cool. So if I have to go left, I have to back up, click, go back in, tap, 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 back out, go left again. And like, there's the combination of diving into the game and then back out and exploring the world and everything. I love these type of puzzle games. I love a lot of puzzle games, but I think the first person escape room-esque ones are just like easily my favorite. This is one that we learned about when Indie Maniac was on, mentioned it. I was more familiarized with the Stately Snail at that point. And this was on my wish list. We got a Next Fest demo, which I'm like, hell yeah, this is super dope. And then I got my key for the full game, and I loved it. I absolutely adored it. So getting to play it fairly short. If you could figure out the puzzles quicker, there were a lot that stumped me for a minute where I'm like, what do I need to do? So I definitely prolonged it. But like, I imagine if I would jump back in now, knowing where everything is and doing the timing, I could probably knock it out in like 2 to 3 hours. Okay. But still, like, sucker for escape rooms.
Yeah, I bought the game. Haven't played it yet, but Indie Maniac's enthusiasm for this developer is what really sold me on this. And then seeing hearing your thoughts on it and how much you enjoy it. Yeah, this is one I'm gonna be picking up soon.
Let's run it, baby. Now let me tell you about this Indie Maniac guy. Listen, I know he ain't listening. This motherfucker is so bad at Chained Together. So fucking terrible. So terrible, in fact, that his whole entire mentality is, oh, let's make fun of Danny for being bad. I could jump. I made the jumps. But just because, like, all right, team on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 3 out of the 4 of us jump. And he's like, sorry, guys, I was drinking water because my chat made me drink some water. I'm like, shut up. You need to pay attention. Pause. But there's moments where pause and re-chat. That's fine. But don't do it in the middle of the jump, dude.
And stay hydrated.
Yeah, stay hydrated when we land. We're in hell. We're trying to climb out of hell. We'll get out. Degenerate, I swear. Anyway. Oh boy, but yes, those are our number sevens, which for anyone keeping track at home, for 4 ranks, we currently have 8 games on our top 10. So,
Yes.
So you ready for number 6?
I sure am.
All right, bet. Let's run it. Ready, team? Here we go. Number 6. The Crush House. And Caravan Sandwich.
Caravan Sandwich.
There it is. So once again, we have our tie. Who would have guessed? At number 6, we have the Crush House and Caravan Sandwich. Let's wrap up Caravan Sandwich. This is one that I think we've had this combination of jump back and forth. Like I've played it, you've played it back and forth. We've both played Caravan Sandwich. You've beaten. I'm towards the end, but I have not beaten it yet, but enough to talk about it. So why are we loving Caravan Sandwich so much?
Well, I'm surprised to find it this low on the list because I thought this one was one of the games that might have been on both of our top 10s. I guess not. Basically, you return to your home planet because your sister went missing, and you get a caravan to drive around to go and look for her. And basically, that's all you do. You just drive around in this really awesomely handling caravan through this desert, and you meet friendly robots. You might meet a sandwich. It's just such a cool time. A frog, yes. I'd forgotten about him. Damn.
The frog. He got me out here collecting his kids because he's irresponsible. This guy, this fucking guy.
But yeah, again, this is very fetch quest game. But I love me a fetch quest game.
Yeah.
And Caravan Sandwich does it like not many other games have done before. And that it's the right combination of really nice visuals, amazing music, and just vibes.
Yeah.
Just
100%. Yeah, we weeks ago we did our book club for Sable, right, which both excited for and then came out disappointed and not really enjoying our time, but both had a similar reflection of like, you're like, I want to go back to play Caravan Sandwich. I'm like, this made me just want to go play that finally, and get to experience Caravan Sandwich. And like it's weird, right? Because if someone was like, what makes this game different from other like open world indies, like there's a lot to be like, it's kind of the same in this way and this way, and like it doesn't do a lot that's super new and unique in terms like the industry, but like everything it does super well, and it's clean and it's polished, and it's you already said like the vibe, and the vibe is it. Like we talked about for best music, we had something else that won for the Playlog Awards, and then in the middle of the week I'm like, actually, like what if Caravan Sandwich instead, right? Like yeah, that adds up. The game's just really pretty. It's relaxing. I think in terms of these games where you have to do fetch quests and it's a chore to travel, like hopping in the van is super convenient. It is not like if you leave the van, you can like hold a button to fast travel back to it. It's not like you have to like, all right, you left your van 10 miles away, you better start walking. Like you just hold a button, teleport back to it, and then drive to where you need to go. Like the chore part of this game is still super fun to do. And I had a great time with it. That being said, it was on my top 10. So that's why I landed right here.
I have to say, like for the longest time, this game was in my top 3 for this year.
Get it?
And then right at the end of the year, like
you're like, I like other games more. This game's bad.
It's not. No. No, don't say it like that.
No. It's great. It's great. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, we're going to record this. I got some things to do for the social media, blah, blah, blah. And, like, oh, it'd be a great night for the Caravan Sandwich. I'm like, oh, wait, no, the Indie Awards are tonight. I have to go watch those right away. And then I got to, it's a time. It's a busy place. But, yeah, Caravan Sandwich is a good one. It's a really good one.
It really is. Yeah. But tell me about another Devolver game.
Tofr? There is so much ass in the Crush House, baby. Yeah, so the Crush House, I am a sucker for just garbage reality TV. And like I say that, I don't think it's garbage. I love it. You could mess me up with The Challenge, Big Brother, any of those. I love those type of shows. The competition things that I'll never be able to do. Well, Big Brother, listen, the audition tape's recorded. We're going to see if 2025 is the year, baby. We'll find out. You guys will get a post if it happens. But like, I love Big Brother. I'll get on my binge every season when the new one comes out, and then I'm like, I'm not done with this show, and I'll re-binge like 5 or 6 of the old seasons just back to back because I love seeing the competitions, right? This game, not so much the competitions. I know I've harped a lot in the competitions, but Crush House is you running your own reality show where you put 4 contestants into the house, and they're basically just trying to survive the week by keeping ratings up. So really it becomes a competition show for you where audiences will tune in and they'll be like, hey, I want to see this. So like you'll have the housewives, you're like, I want to see them drinking wine. I want to see the drama. So you want to make sure you're capturing those things on camera, right? So you'll see in the other side of the house, there'll just be 2 people, like they'll start steaming. You're like, I know I got to start filming. And then as you're filming, they'll start smacking each other and the audience is losing their mind. And as that audience is impressed, the next day you'll unlock more audiences where you have the horny teenagers like, I want to see ass. Make sure you film all that ass that you can. And you like male, female, whatever you want to do, like you just need to film some ass and they're happy with it. So you got to film some ass. But then you have some weird people who just want to see the pipes, which you think is an innuendo. Nah, literally, they'll just be like, I want to see where the water runs. I don't understand why they're here, but they're here. So you got to make them happy. So you got to like run back to your office and start filming some of the pipes they run through, or go to the kitchen sink and film it. Some like cinephiles, they want to see the dramatic angles. They want to be like, I want them to feel small. So you got to film from like the rafters so you can get these views. And you're just trying to impress audience after audience to keep your show continued. And it's a roguelike in that way, where as you finish the first week, you get renewed for season 2, which is week 2, and then you bring in a new cast of audience members or of contestants. But along the way, there's like a hidden kind of story going on where like, hey, do not talk to the contestants. You're here to film and do your thing. And you could choose where they'll be like, hey, by the way, any chance you could like make sure I get caught kissing the hottest baddie in the house? And like you could choose to accept that quest and film them doing that, or be like, hey, I can't talk to the talent, and you don't do that. So, but you'll earn points one way or the other. So it's just a fun thing for people who like reality shows. Like the Crush House just itches those things, and I'm here for it. Plus that's ass. Cool.
Oh, it's cool. Like you were really excited about it even before it came out, and it's cool to see that it delivered and that it made it onto your top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I need to like, I've gotten far enough. I think like week 3, 4. It's kind of hard sometimes when the contestants suck. I'm like, I need you guys to kiss. You're not kissing for some reason. And then maybe I'm hoping there's a new wiki now where someone has the perfect combination of, you want to put these 4 together, because you put these 4 together, they're always fucking. You're like, yes, okay, now I know what to do. And but yeah, like I just had so much fun with the time put into the demo, the full game. It's just really cool, and I'm hoping to see more expansions for it, whether that's a new house, new contestant. I would love to see like a Survivor-esque expansion where we're doing the same thing, but they're on an island collecting food, etc. I think that'd be a really cool thing to keep evolving the show. But we'll see how it goes.
That's all right.
Cool. The Crush House. Devolver, killing it. Man, too bad it's the last game from them to show up on this list, I have to assume.
Yeah, sure.
But
totally believe you.
We're halfway. You ready to see number 5?
I absolutely am. Let's check that top 5 out.
I gotta wait till it transitions. Number 5. Tactical Breach Wizards.
Hell yes.
And Another Crab's Treasure.
Ooh, sounds like.
Yeah, dude. We crabbing out here. Oh, boy. So our number 5, the halfway point, our top half of the list, we have Another Crab's Treasure and Tactical Breach Wizards. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 12 games on our top 10 so far. I can start with Another Crab's Treasure.
Go for it.
I've gone on for years about how I don't like Souls-likes. I don't enjoy them. I like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Sekiro. Like I've tried them. I don't enjoy them. And as someone's like, those aren't Soulsborns, those are, or sorry, those aren't Souls-likes, they're Soulsborns because they're the official. Cool. The answer is I don't like FromSoft games. I think I found that like I don't necessarily steer away from like the challenging game. I think I just don't like the vibe and the punishment of From Software. Where like I can think about Demon Souls, the amount of times where I would die and they spawn me back at that goddamn fountain, so I have to run the entire level again. And they're basically just like, you died, get fucked, right? And I'm like, I hate that. I hate that so much. But like this year I've played games like Black Myth Wukong and Another Crab's Treasure, which like have shown me I think I like the formula enough if it's wrapped in a wrapping paper that fits my desires. And Another Crab's Treasure is like easily my favorite Souls like Shells like of all time. It's cute. You play as Krill. Your house gets foreclosed on by some weird little like toy shark who's like, ha, you owe us back rent, sucker. So now you're exploring the ocean to collect microplastics and make money so you can buy your shell back from this little like shopkeeper. And you're going to different parts of the ocean. You're finding things that have fallen off of boats or garbage barges or whatever to like use as your shell. And each one has either different durability, different perks to them, so different powers, so you can do like a spin attack. There's one that's like a little party popper where you can like snap it and shoot at people from a distance. You have your fork, which is your primary weapon, which you can level up the entire time and make it stronger. I think eventually you get like a 4-prong, like I guess it'd be I was gonna say a quadrant. I don't know what you call a 4-prong trident, whatever you call that thing. But you just keep upgrading your fork to new things and getting new shells, and you can purchase one that's kind of like your permanent upgrade. So every time you would respawn, you have that shell as opposed to another one. And shell insurance, I think it's what it's called. But yeah, I just fell in love with this world, this SpongeBob meets Dark Souls vibe. And again, the platinum, it was really fun to go through and beat all the bosses. I wanted to get everything, find everything this game had to offer. I missed one of the bosses earlier, so I was missing a skill the entire game, which didn't break my experience. So I'm like, man, I could have used that. Like, but yeah, the mantis shrimp for anyone out there. Yeah, I missed the mantis shrimp when I was supposed to find him. But yeah, no, Another Crab's Treasure is like definitely one that I thoroughly enjoyed this year. And I think for people who are like similar to me, when you don't like Souls likes, I would say give this one a shot. And if it doesn't change your mind, maybe you just don't like Souls likes. But if you do end up liking this, maybe you just don't like FromSoft games like me. So yeah, I'm just
yeah, it's cool to see that. Like this game could have easily just been a gimmick.
Yeah,
like this, it's a Souls like, but it's cute crabs.
Mm-hmm.
But they had the gameplay to back it up.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to see that.
Absolutely.
I do think it's gotten the success because of that as well. And it's cool to see like so many gamers are like, oh, the games have to be difficult and they have to be dark, and like, no, they don't. It could be about a crab and still be difficult.
Black Myth should have won Game of the Year, Tofr. That's all I'm saying. Black Myth Wukong should have won. What's this Astro? This game for kids.
Oh my god.
But yeah, like recently Aggro Crab, I think they were in a spot where their backer for their next project dropped out. So they're like, hey, we're in a shitty spot if anyone's looking. And then like the next tweet was like, guys, so many of you, I'm so happy. So like I was shocked after the success of this game, seeing whoever the original backer was, which I don't think we know. I don't know if we ever will know, backing out to be like, we're not in, whether that is Another Crab's Treasure 2, where that is a brand new type of project. Or maybe it's freaking going under 2, which would be insane if we got a sequel to that one, because I have to finish it. But like, it's insane now to see like the household name of Aggro Crab. Maybe household might be a little strong, but the indie household name of Aggro Crab, to then be like, oh, we backed out on a project. Like, they're going to be kicking themselves like 3-4 years, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years from now when they make their next game. But yeah, no, they killed it. I love this game. Cool. Yeah. But that's it, right? Nothing else to talk about number 5. So let's move on to number 4. I'm just kidding. Talking about Tactical Breach Wizards.
Wow.
Relax.
Tactical Breach Wizards is one of those games that it's in a weird spot, right? Like there were some awards. I think it was the Golden Joysticks where it got nominated for multiple awards, and then we look at the nominees for the Indie Game Awards, and they're nowhere to be seen. And I'm like, what? This is insane.
Yeah.
Basically, Tactical Breach Wizards is like if you take what makes XCOM really good, but then make it wizards, and then make it really emotional as well.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, you're doing these tactical battles in turn-based combat, which is really cool. But then it's also emotional, and it talks about them as people. And you even have like these fever dreams where each character has to like challenge themselves to get through some like a fear that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
But it's also the same tactical battles, and it's one of the coolest storytelling mechanics that I've seen this year. We've seen amazing stories this year, but this is the one that like told it in such a cool way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really, really good. If you like your XCOMs or games like that, you're gonna love this. The gameplay is absolutely there.
Yeah, I'm so interested, right? Because I wasn't an XCOM kid, but Mario and Rabbids was like, oh, interesting. Like I do like this type of gameplay, right? And then
you're gonna love this.
Right, and it's right there. I've already bought it. It's in the library. It's got to get played at some point. And again, it's like, that'd be a pretty nice thing to do tonight. Oh, wait, no, I can't do it tonight. I don't got the time tonight. But like, I'm always so interested because we talk about narrative, right? And you don't look at something like a Marvel's Midnight Suns or a Mario. Well, maybe Mario because it's Nintendo budget or Ubisoft budget, and like see like, oh, this is going to tell an impactful story. And like, I'm most interested in diving in to see that. And see like what is it about Tactical Breach Wizards that's just like, here's the story you're getting and grab the tissues along the way. I'm like, interesting. Like I never would have expected this is the vibe we get out of it just by looking like a trailer, right? I'm like, it's the XCOM, which is dope. And probably one that would totally have passed me by if it wasn't Tofr talking about it every week. I'm like, listen, Tactical Breach Wizards. I'm like, okay.
I will talk about this game anytime I can. It's also the funniest game of the year, by the way.
Whoa,
it's hilarious.
Thank goodness your hair is right there.
It has. I don't care.
Whoa!
I don't care. That game is really good. I've watched people play it, and it's absolutely funny.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hold a candle to Tactical Breach Wizards.
Fair enough. I'm not busting the
Breach Wizards has Dave the Traffic Warlock.
Oh, honestly? He's a good friend of mine. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. He shoots invisible cars at you.
Oh. Well, that's just unsafe. I feel like we need some kind of like Sokovia course to check him in and be like, hey, we can't be just using your powers like that, you know? We can't be doing that. Damn. Yeah, Tactical Breachers I got to get to. Listen, maybe this Christmas break. We'll see. Probably not. I got to work another video, so we'll see whatever happens. But those are number 5. You ready to see what our number 4 is?
Yep.
Oh, boy. I don't know if you're ready.
I was
number 4.
Ready.
Mouthwashing.
No way.
Our first solo winner of a placement on this list is mouthwashing. Coming in at number 4 is mouthwashing, a game we both played. You wanna start talking about mouthwashing?
I absolutely do. It's the horror game that I enjoyed the most this year because it combines everything that I like about horror. And I don't like that much about horror,
right?
But the things that I do like is,
but it combines it all.
When it's about people, not about like scary monsters or like these gruesome slashers or whatever, but like the psychological horror that comes with dealing with real people, and especially when they're in like this claustrophobic space where they can't get away from each other and they're just stuck together. And it also has sci-fi, and I'm a sucker for sci-fi.
There you go.
Yeah. And mouthwashing basically, it's basically a tragedy, told in a very non-linear way.
Yeah.
which will make you think certain things of only for those ideas to be challenged later on. And it's so good. But why don't you tell me what you thought about it?
Yeah, I was so interested in mouthwashing, right? I remember seeing I think it was like a Guerrilla Collective Halloween like horror game special, and not one that I tuned into super attentively just because it's not, again, my vibe. But I remember immediately after seeing like Mike Towndrow from 6180 tweet about this, I'm like, this one looks kind of cool. I'm interested to see what it's about. It passed me by when it came out, no review code or anything like that. And then as the Indie Awards rolled around, there was a key available for, judges to get to play it. I'm like, oh yeah, I should hop on this before, award show time. And then members of my chat were like super invested in it, talking about how cool this game is and the narrative. And listen, some people gassing up a little much, like best game to ever exist. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, listen, we all have opinions. We all like things, but I'm saying we're gassing up a little much. And I think though I don't find that to be a flaw. I do find sometimes, and I know I'll do it. I'll talk about how much I love a game. I praise Moonlighter every goddamn day of my life. I know that's not for everybody, but I hope somebody hears me talk about it and says, that sounds like something I'll like. I'm into it. I think the gas I got behind Moonlighter when I got into it was not a letdown, but I was definitely like, okay, it was fine. Like it was good. Like it was not like a bad game. I enjoyed my experience, even the rougher parts and the more like emotionally taxing parts. I'm like, damn. Like we went there. But I think I definitely left my first night of this game with a bad taste, mainly because, and I'll blame chat because it became a combination of like moments are happening, but I have a chat who has watched like every single breakdown on YouTube and knows every single thought, right? Versus me, who's going in entirely blind. I have no idea what's happening. And I'm getting this like, I don't think he's figured this out yet. Oh my God, when you find out about this guy, and like they're kind of spoiling like who's the asshole in the end. I'm like, really? Like, I feel like I didn't get my mouth-washing experience the way I wanted to. It's like watching someone play Undertale and then going in like, this is what's happening. Like, it was a very like, I think if I hadn't streamed this one and just played it, I'd leave a lot higher on it than I was, which comes across as like I wasn't high on it. I will say it was also not on my top 10. So this one got its space solely from your vote. But yeah, I still enjoyed mouthwashing, like after getting to reflect on it and see, and I wish I could remember the channel, but like I watched somebody did like a chronological breakdown of like, here's the events that happened here and there, and I still haven't done any of the deep dives of like, here's what I think happened with this, because it would make the most sense that but like, yeah, I think mouthwashing is a really cool experience, especially because it is a psychological thriller. I was a huge fan of Dredge. I think games that go for psychological thriller as opposed to like your FNAF jump scare, like chase him down the hallway, et cetera, like that's not really my vibe. That's chat likes to see Danny get scared, so let's do it. But mouthwashing is experiencing a narrative that I think a lot of horror games shy away from, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Can we also agree that this game features the worst human in video games?
Fucking the old man drinking fucking. So I can't remember anybody's names right now. I'm trying to think. I'm like, fuck, what are the names? No. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, 100%. Pretty shitty dude. Yeah. It's to do with the anime name. I know it.
But that means that we're getting to our top 3 then. We
are in our top 3. You how you feeling? What are you thinking?
Ooh.
A lot of games out there. Like, are they on here? We don't know.
I'm really curious to see. Like, I have some games that I was thinking these are going to be Danny games that haven't been presented yet.
Okay.
So let's find out.
All right. Hey, let's hop into our number 3. Number 3. Never.
Number 3?
Yeah. And 1,000 times resist.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Coming in at number 3, we have honestly, if there was a pair to tie for number 3, I'm not mad at this one. Like Never and 1,000 times resist are pretty good. They're pretty good pair. Just like if we got a Steam bundle of these two, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't really have a way to explain why it makes a lot of sense, but it makes a lot of sense.
They're just both narrative masterpieces, and each in their own unique way.
Yeah, they're both really great. Let's see. I guess I could start talking Neva here. I
Yes, please.
fell in love with this game a few months back. I've had my game of the year chosen for a long time. Like it's the thing of like, oh, this is gonna be my game of the year, and like, what will something dethrone it before the end of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as we got closer and closer, and I got to Neva, I'm like, oh wow, this was great. I got my key through Devolver. It was I always remember it's the first key I got through Devolver. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate
Pretty
you.
good one.
Pretty good one. But it was one that I got the key a week early, but still couldn't play it till launch. So it haunted me in my Steam library. Just like, I'm here, Danny. You can't play it, but I'm here. I'm here. And I'm like, fuck, I want to play Neva so bad. And then I was up till midnight the night it dropped. I played it. For whatever reason, the PC version was giving me controller issues where I could not play with the controller. So I had to play a platform with mouse and keyboard, which on paper is the worst thing in existence. But somehow I was so infatuated. Like it wasn't one of those, God, it's a chore to have to play. It was let me learn these controls for a format that I don't like to play a mouse and keyboard. Well, I guess just keyboard for. Eventually I'm like, oh, I can open this on the Steam Deck. I'm an idiot. And then I use controller for the second half of the game. But Neva is so beautiful. It's impactful. It does the thing where you are playing as a character with your pet dog, and not a spoiler. You start with the two dogs. You have your big grown dog. Then you have Neva, who is like the puppy. And then from the trailer, again, not a spoiler, but like the main dog dies, right? Or the older dog dies. So now it is just you raising Neva, and you're starting from like a puppy, and narratively you're going through the seasons like we're in. I think you start in summer, and then you step, to the as the seasons go by, and you're like, oh, the dog's got a little bit bigger, but now it can do this, and the dog becomes a lot more of a utility in terms of like a companion, but also like it is your best friend. They like with you through the entire game. You're watching them grow and fight alongside you and defend you, and you're running into all these encounters. And every time we talk about Neva, I'll always mention like Gris was this amazing, beautiful platformer that like, it's weird to say it doesn't do anything special. It is a platformer that is super pretty, super beautiful. But you like wonder how would this team do something to step up from that, and they do. There are set pieces that are extravagant in this game. The beauty, the audio design, everything. Like I love Neva front to back. And I'm just like, I know I need to pick it up on PlayStation and aim for that platinum and play it again. But I love Neva so freaking much.
I'm just really impressed in how they managed to improve on a game like Gris. Like, that was such a good game, and they managed to outdo themselves. Like, I thought this was gonna be your game of the year, actually.
It was up. We started that episode. We were like, tell me about Neva. I'm like, this is a game of the year contender, and that's something that'll always come to heart, right? The moment I play it, the moment I'm leaving so high on it, where I'm like, damn, this is so good. But I always want to leave the window of like, I'm not gonna lock this in for my game of the year, but I'm gonna see in a couple weeks where I'm like, does this dethrone what's up there? Because the same thing of the game that was game of the year was up there the entire time. Like I'm like, man, I had a good time with that. Will it stay there, right? So then as Neva would have come in at my number 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's but it's so great. It's so good. But now we got to talk about 1000x resist, I guess is what these kids are calling it. that is what I've been calling. Until we did the awards, I was still calling it 1000x resist. I'm like, 1000 times resist. 1000 times resist, I think. I don't know.
I think so. I actually haven't heard it said aloud.
Say other than you, I think I see it right. And so I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. But this was also my number 2 spot for Game of the Year. And I struggled with this one. I wanted to put it at number 1 so badly. But yeah, it's such an amazing feat of storytelling, and that it's a science fiction story about a girl who survived this worldwide disease as the only human to survive.
Yeah.
Who then turns into the All-Mother and creates clones of herself to try and get civilization going again. And at the same time, it's such a heartfelt story about immigrants moving away from Hong Kong, moving to the United States, trying to build a life there while staying true to their identity. And these two storylines cross each other so beautifully, and the visuals are a delight as well. And I don't really have words for it. Like this might be stupid, but I don't have words for how special this game is to me.
Yeah. I say it in full confidence, like I totally can see it, and I can't quite, one of those I can sympathize, not empathize yet, because I've only made it through chapter 4. I keep saying this every time we talk about 1,000 Times Resistor. I'm like, I've gone through, I think it was chapter 3, which is, the heavy start to like the immigrant story and what's going on there, and seeing like our main character in quotes, and how like she ended up like what she's going through and how she ended up there and dealing with her parents. I'm like, this, as simple as it was such an impactful chapter for me, and I can't wait to see what else comes after that. And I'm like, at the beginning of the next chapter, if I sit down and play, I'll definitely be past the beginning of the next chapter. I just have to do that. But all day I've been saying like, it'd be a great night to play this, wouldn't it? But I'm really intrigued at this game in terms of its storytelling, and knowing that there's, I think, 10 to 12 chapters or something in that ballpark. I think it might be 10. I think it's double digits. Something like that. Knowing that I'm getting closer to like the halfway point, right, where I'm like, I know if I like power through and do it, I'll see the end and like find out why it's so beloved. But like I can already see the breadcrumbs, Jesus, the breadcrumbs of don't give me that look. Don't give me that look. Where's your heart? Okay, I'm doing 2 podcasts in a week. It's sad. Yeah, no, 1,000 Times Resist is really dope, and like it'll be one of the ones next year, or like as I finish it up through the new year, I'm like, damn, you know what? I see it. I see it now. I saw it, but now I see it,
Yeah. I think it's cool in how that and that the game revolves around a central figure who isn't all that likable. Apparently, that's my kind of game. we all remember Night in the Woods.
We need fan art of 1,000 Exorcist and Night in the Woods of just like chilling together, being like, you two kind of suck. Like,
yeah, but it makes for the most interesting stories, the most interesting character-based stories, because most people kind of suck.
Yeah, not me. I'm perfect.
And that's true. but like all of us, even the people who don't really suck, we all have our darker sides or our bad sides or whatever. And learning how to overcome those makes for some of the most beautiful stories that we can have about humans.
Absolutely. Man. Good games. That's only number 3. Who would have guessed?
That's only number 3.
You ready to see number 2?
I am so ready for number 2.
Yeah. Do you have any inclination of what it is?
Nope.
All right. Okay. Let's run it.
I am completely ready to be surprised.
Number 2. Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Oh. The other red-headed woman game.
The other red-headed woman game. And our next solo placement game on the list, Dungeons of Hinterberg. This is the game I think dropped in April. Might have been August. I think it started with an A. Someone remind me. But I was looking forward to it the entire time leading up. We played the demo. We were in the play test, and each single time I think one of the greatest things about the way they rolled out their play tests and demos for this is that each time it was something different. I know a lot of indies will put out a new demo, which is the same thing with an extra 10 minutes at the end, or like they'll keep their demo up from the time they drop it to the release of the game, and it's the same experience, right? So if you play it once, you're playing the same thing. Dungeon of Hinterberg did one of those things where I almost like on your talk show at night where someone brings you the clip of the movie you want to go see this weekend, but it's like halfway through the movie, so you're not watching from the beginning that same clip you've already seen on the internet, blah, 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 that type of thing. I got to experience Dungeons of Hinterberg much deeper into the experience, knowing that was just like a taste of what was to come. The way you explain Mythwrecked and I want to stay up and I keep going and do one more quest and do one more thing, like that was my Dungeons of Hinterberg this year. Dove into the game. You play as Louisa, who is, I think, accountant or she has some mundane type of job, but she's on her slaycation. She goes on vacation to Hinterberg, where there are 25 gates that adventurers come to try and defeat, but no one's ever defeated all 25. Once you clear them, it would eradicate the magic of this like kingdom, right? Like that's the whole premise. But because no one's done it, like this is the life everybody's like learned to live, and everyone's selling weapons or becomes a blacksmith or a slayer like as a career choice. And you getting to experience this day by day, wake up, meet your friends, right? You meet a bunch of different people around town who will give you different perks. The more you build that relationship with them, you might get additional health slots. You might get additional stamina slots, new armor. Some of them who are slayers are like, you know what? I see that you're into this. I think I've realized like I'm not into it. So you'll get their armor, their sword, their whatever, and you're just increasing your kit over and over and over again. And progressively finding new areas of Hinterberg that have more challenging dungeons. You start at like the level 2s, you're going all the way up to level 10s, where you're seeing go from like green to black, and there's like the red and orange in between. So you're seeing how much more challenging they get. But as you're pacing yourself and leveling yourself up and doing everything, you're seeing yourself evolve as a character, as a slayer, and like, oh, it may be black and it's scary, but like I know I can handle it because I have the kit and the skills to do so. I wouldn't say the game is overly challenging. It's definitely one of those, if you run to the wrong neighborhood and you're like, oh yeah, I shouldn't be here yet, you're not going to have the health, stamina, etc. to do it. But this was so reminiscent of Fire Emblem 3 Houses when that released. Because I'm not the Fire Emblem guy, but I am the Fire Emblem 3 Houses guy. I love that game. I love getting to pick a class and find my students, to get to know my students and my characters and go on the tea dates and everything with them. And that's what Dungeons of Hinterberg was. So I got a lot of remnants of 3 Houses, not in terms of combat, because that's more of your third person hack and slash God of War-esque type deal. But each area has different kits and different spells and things you can use. So the gameplay is always evolving and feeling unique. And it just had the cord wrapped around me from start to finish. And when I finished, I'm like, man, do I go again? Nah, I can't do that. Then they said, by the way, we're dropping New Game Plus. I'm like, shit, I could go again. I don't know. Yeah, I love Dungeons of Hinterberg. It was easily my favorite game this year.
Nice. Yeah. I should have known. Like, I since it hadn't been featured yet, I should have known. But
you have to find out it's an honorable mention.
No, this can't be an honorable mention. This is too good. I haven't gotten back into it yet since the playtest.
Yeah.
Because I got stuck on some puzzles, and it made my motivation go out the window. Sure. But I still I really want to go back to it because it's a special game.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I love it. I would love to figure out some way, shape, or form to immortalize like my indie game of the years on my wall somehow. And like there's the one studio or one company that does like the glass frames for games, where you'll take the case, they'll take the disc out and they'll put in like the foam, almost like when you get like a platinum record and they have it in the whole glass case stuff. It's one of those, except you send them your game, they take the disc out, mount it, take the case out, mount it, and put like a little plaque on the bottom. Like those are really cool. But a lot of these indie games don't have physical releases. So I'm like, ooh, do I have to wait for release then send them all in? Would I do what? But like, I love something like that for some kind of display. I think it'd be really cool. So
that would be cool.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Dungeons of Hinterberg. Tofr. That leaves us with one place left.
The honorable mentions.
Yes, well, yeah, you're right. So on the honorable mention, there's a moment where I was just like, oh wait, it's the joke, right? I thought you were just like, yeah, that was our number one. We did it. We're done. But we have our number one, which I'm sure some people in the audience could be like, oh my God, they picked it. And some people are like, what the fuck could it even be? Like, you picked all the good games. Or someone's just like, why isn't Black Myth Wukong and Astrobot and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree on here? Where's Metaphor Refantastic? Shut up.
Listen. I did expect Black Myth Wukong to be in your top 10.
I contemplated a lot. On my
you really enjoyed that one.
On my last revision, I really had to figure out where that one sat for me. And like, definitely Another Crab's Treasure came out higher for me.
Okay.
And I was like, damn, do I put Black Myth on? But then there was also the like, it's indie, but it's China, so like it's game science. Is it indie? And I was like, what if I'm wrong? What if it's not? They're like, this is a AAA. But so I backed out a little bit. I backpedaled, but I still like Black Myth Wukong. That being said, we got these people stalling enough, so it's time to tell them what our number one is.
Go for it.
Number one in the Playlog podcast game of the year is Balatro. What? Who would have guessed?
This is just a game about cards.
It is. It's a really terrible game about cards.
It is terrible because once you start playing, you cannot stop.
Yeah, you're stuck in it forever. But yeah, Balatro was the Playlog podcast game of the year, which honestly, if you're surprised, why? Like, you want to start talking Balatro?
Sure. Balatro actually surprised me when it came out because I was hyped this year for a game called Dungeons and Degenerate Gamblers, which is kind of similar and except that it's blackjack instead of poker.
Yeah.
And then Balatro dropped first. And it was just perfect. It was just perfect. It has this addictive hook where you play poker, but then you can use tarot cards and you can use jokers and influence things to make the numbers go up and up and up. And I'm like, oh god, this is doing all of the things to me.
Bigger. It's just so addicting, right? And I tell the story each time with I got the PR email about, hey, the Steam Next Fest demo's out if you want to try it. Like, it's blowing up the world. I'm like, excuse me, it looks like it is. We'll see. I might get into it later. I don't really know. Didn't get around to it. I get the email like, hey, review keys dropped this week if you want one. I'm like, I'm playing XYZ for review. I just don't have the time. I got to slow down requesting review keys for games I can't play. I do it too much. So I'm like, let me hold off. So I'm focused on another thing, and then Balatro comes out, and everybody on the goddamn planet is talking about how great this game is. I'm seeing Kind of Funnies, IGNs, GameSpots. Everyone's just like, oh, Balatro's so good. So I shoot the email. I'm like, hey, can I get that Balatro key? And like, there was no response with it, but I could just see like the smirk emoji, like the, here you go. And then I started playing it. I'm like, fuck, dude. It's so addicting. And it's the thing of like, I said this on stream the other day. We were talking about the Game Awards, et cetera, et cetera. I call out Balatro, not call it Balatro. I call it people who don't like Balatro in the same way that the SpongeBob meme of like the Krabby Patty, right? Like, anyone who doesn't like a Krabby Patty has never eaten one. And I have a TikTok that went from 200 likes to currently like 10.9 thousand likes from the Balatro nomination. It is my, so what is Balatro video? Just talking about what this game is. And it's a combination of people not getting it. And like, I'm going to try it to see what the hype is. And then coming back to me like, oh, fuck me, I get it. Oh, no, I get it. And like, the addiction is just so there. And if anything, if this lowers people's real life gambling addictions to just playing poker at home in a video game, awesome. I'd love to see if that statistic is anywhere where someone's like, yes, Balatro prices or Balatro income has gone up and casino prices have gone down and blah, 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 like something to the effect. But the loop of just going in, building your decks, right? You do that first hand where you really don't have anything, but you get that first joker and you're like, okay, so it makes my face cards this. So I guess if I start going for like a face card build, then you get your next round, you complete that. You get a tarot card. It's like, hey, turn all these to a different suit. You're like, okay, let's try that. So now I'm my deck's like all spades, but then I get another card that's like, hey, every card counts as a face card. I'm like, oh shit. I'm set. So now everything I play is a face card. Then I get that boost for face cards. Then I get another one. It's like for every face card you play, earn $2. I'm like, oh, now I'm going to be making money so I can buy even more cards. Then you get the card that just recycles like every card you play gets doubled this turn, or every hand runs again, and every card does this. But then you get cards that'll proc off each other. So every time this one procs, this joker goes. But because this joker did this, and it's that cycle of watching this small number just go up and up and up and up and up and up every single turn. Like, it feels so good, and it's one of those things about the incremental increase from everything. just feels so great. And then when you finish a run and it's like, you want to stop? You want to keep going? I'm like, I want to try another deck, but also this is a good build. Maybe I should stick with it. I don't really know. So you got to pick and choose, but then like when you complete it with one deck, you get like another version of that deck, or like a special deck you unlock for completing it with the red or the blue or the yellow. I know I haven't done like half the decks because I suck with some of them where I'm like, I can't do the money deck. I can't win with the money deck. Even though I could buy all this stuff, I get bad cards. But then there's seeds. So someone finds the right seed. You just copy that seed. It's like playing Minecraft. You get the seed, you get the same world, you get the same build, you know what cards are coming up, and it's really, really fun. So if you fuck it up, you can copy that seed, do it again, and this time play the right cards or buy the right upgrades. And it's so simple because it is just playing cards. And when you watch the trailer, I don't think it gives you what this game is. And I think people will fail just themselves in doing so, where I know a lot of people don't like to listen to reviews these years, like reviews from an IGN. Oh, those are terrible. You guys gave this show an 8 and you gave this a 6. I know their current beef is the Sonic movie, where they're like, these movies just get better and better, but they gave Sonic 3 a lower score than Sonic 1 and 2. And they're like, oh no. So I'm like, fuck IGN. You just, I don't disrespect you like that, but you got to think what you're saying sometimes. That being said, but like IGN will be like, Balacho's great. So then the audience is like, oh, so that means it's bad. Got it. But like, I like to think someone listening to this podcast right now, hearing us, is feeling two human beings talk about why this game is so much fun. And even when they hear like, okay, it doesn't sound like it's for me, but I don't necessarily want to go out and hate it. If you can see where the love is for it, awesome. I think that's all people really want, whether you like it or not, just being able to appreciate it. And like, Balacho is just something so unique and special this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't like game of the year for multiple outlets, top 10, top 5 for multiple outlets. I think it'll just be constantly repeated throughout the rest of the year because it wasn't at the Keeleys.
Yeah, probably. It really it feels like something in line with Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
And that it just makes all of the good feelings fire up inside of you.
Yeah,
it has all the noises. It makes the numbers go up. It makes the noises. It just does it so well. And I'm just really happy to see a roguelike deck builder win Game of the Year.
Yeah. Honestly, I get it. It's valid. It was my number 3. So by the end of everything, and you had it for your number 1. So mathematically, the next closest game, let me see here. So yeah, Balacho, the Playlog Podcast Game of the Year. Congratulations, Balacho. Yes. Local Thunk, I don't have an award for you. I would offer you my Mimic Dice Tower, but this shit wasn't cheap, so we'll get your own. But yeah, as we go back through here and look at our top 10, or top 17, we have at number 10, Vampire Therapist, Karate Survivors. Number 9 is Mythwrecked Ambrosia Island and Children of the Sun. Number 8 is Yellow Taxi Goes Room and Tavern Talk. Number 7 is The Garden Path and Is This Game Trying to Kill Me? Number 6 is The Crush House and Caravan Sandwich. Number 5 is Nether Crab's Treasure and Tactical Breach Wizards. Number 4 is Mouthwashing. Number 3 is Neva and Thousand Times Resist. Number 2 is Dungeons of Hinterberg. And number 1 is Balatro. So like I said, basically because it was just 2 of us, and I think the only difference is, since I have Balatro number 3, you had it number 1, that spaced out our 2 games. So your number 3, no, was Mouthwashing your number 4 or your number 3?
It was my number 3.
Okay, yeah. So because I had Dungeons of Hinterberg at my number 1, it pushed Mouthwashing down 1. So your number 3 became number 4. My number 1 became number 2. And then Balatro jumped above because it got 10 from you, 8 from me, and became number 1 with 18 points. So yeah, go Balatro.
Yeah,
we love it.
Absolutely.
As we move on here, we debated what we wanted to do, but we said we'd save honorable mentions for after, so we didn't tell you guys what games weren't going to be on the list. Before we do honorable mentions, I want to mention the few games that were voted but didn't place, because again, mathematical systems, some games don't make the cut. And it's only 2, which were both of our number 10s, which for you was Kind Words 2, and for me was Helldivers 2. Are the 2 games that were voted and didn't make the cut. Yep. Nice. We do love a good Helldivers. But overall, honorable mentions, if you want to go through your list quick, because we did have some crossover, and I chose not to just include them for the sake of the list, but...
Okay. Yeah. My honorable mentions, there are a couple. Duck Detective, The Secret Salami.
Yep.
Phantom Spark was one that spent a lot of time in my top 10.
Yeah, I get it. You're high on that one.
Yeah. Rusty's Retirement is another one that just didn't make it. Then I have Great God Grove, The Holy Gosh Darn, Fruit Bus, Times and Galaxy, The Star Named Eos, and The Billionaire.
Yep. Good ass list. I also had Duck Detective in my honorable mentions,
Nice.
as well as Rusty's Retirement. And I would love to think A Star Named Eos was in there, and it's just one that got away from me. Another one of those cases of like, I didn't get a key, but I had keys for other things, so let me prioritize the key ones. And I'm like, fuck, I probably would have loved that game. I know I'm going to love that game. I just passed me by. My honorable mentions are basically where I dropped all of my early access titles because we said they wouldn't count for Game of the Year, so buckle in. But I had Beastie Ball, which probably easily would have made top 5 if we included early access. Yep. Content warning, Oh Dear, Black Myth Wukong, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip, Odd Sparks in early access, Haiti 2 in early access, Animal Well, Creatures of Ava, and Crypt Custodian. I probably also had Caravan Sandwich in here from our top 10. I think that's the only one that you had top 10 that was in my honorable mentions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good year. And this isn't even like everything. I have another doc of just like other games that came out this year as I'm planning like my big fancy video that hopefully will be out around the same time as this. I don't really fucking know. But like, even if I just went down, like we're talking things like Pal World, Ultros, Little Guardsman, Pacific Drive, Pepper Grinder, No Rest for the Wicked, Surmount, Crow Country, Little Kitty Big City. Like there's a lot. I could sit here and just read this list of like 50 something games, but what a good year. 2024. What a fucking time.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is 2025 is going to be even better.
Time to get started, baby. Little Kitty Big City 2. That is not announced. I did not mean to put that on the team. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to put that on your shoulders. But yeah, I know as we get into like prepping for the next year, I know my brain's thinking, right? It's not next week for us, next week for viewers. Next week will be our most anticipated games for 2025 list, where I'm sure we'll both come with a list of 10 indie games, which I think I might have, but I might have to relook and see like what else is on there for most anticipated. But let's face it, we all know one game got announced a couple weeks ago, which is guaranteed to be on that list, but you have to wait till next week to find out which one that is.
Yep.
But yeah, that's 2024. That's the wrap. We did the damn thing.
We sure did.
Shit, I'm tired. We gotta do this all over again this year. Damn.
Hell yes.
Oh man. Yeah, I'd love to see going into next year if I can like find a friend that's like not in like doing the list here to each like, here's their email, send them your list, I'll send them my list, and then they do the math, solve it, throw together the things so I can just like see it so we can both experience our top 10 fall together at the same time. But yeah, the first year we got to figure it out, but I think like having the shock of like, oh, this is where that fell? Because I think I would have been surprised that Dungeon of Hinterberg came in at number 2. And that I don't think I would have been surprised seeing Balatro win. I think I would have been like, oh yeah, of course, that makes the most sense. But man, what a year. What a good time.
What a year. And hopefully by the time this video goes up, I'll have caught up with my backlog.
Hopefully you got a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You'll play everything in your backlog ever.
No.
No, we tried. We tried, team.
Yeah.
All my viewer beautiful friends, thank you guys so much for sticking with us through Playlog Podcast this year and watching this Game of the Year top 10/17 list for Playlog Podcast. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please do us a favor, hit that like button. If you're listening on Spotify, Amazon, etc., leave that 5-star review. And yes, I'm talking to you. I know you're like, oh, they're not talking to me, I'm just listening. Yes, I mean you, because you do it just the one time. If you do it the one time, you forever gave the show a 5-star review. It's all you have to do. I'm not asking you to do it every week. It's just the one time. And then if you see your friend, if you're on the bus right now, you see a little old lady listening to Playlog Podcast, and you can see those 5 empty stars because she hasn't voted, take her goddamn phone, vote for the podcast and say 5 stars. And she's like, what'd you do, Shani? You're like, you vote for that goddamn podcast. I keep saying vote. We're not voting for nothing. We're not nominated for anything, but just give us the 5-star review. It's not a lot. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think that's it. I mean, you want to tell the people where to follow you?
They can find me through my link tree, which is Play Nice Kids in one word. And I just want to say, I hope everyone has fantastic 2025.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Guys, let us know what your favorite games were for 2024 and save your most anticipated for 2025 for next week's episode, because now we're going to be talking about them. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.